Hi, we're going to be working on triangles today. This types of triangles reference sheet can be found in your Schoology account. You can classify triangles in two different ways. So we're going to look at triangles, and every triangle has two names. One of its name is going to be based on the size of its angles, and one of its names is going to be based on the lengths of its sides. So you can see here, we have three different names for triangles based on the size of their angles. We have an acute triangle, a right triangle, and an obtuse triangle. Then we'll look at triangles based on the length of their sides. We have an isosceles triangle, a scalene triangle, and an equilateral triangle. So now go into your Schoology account and find the geoboard. I'm going to take a minute to just show you how to use your geoboard. We're going to practice making some triangles. You can use one rubber band like this to make a triangle. You can use more than one rubber band like this. Down here you could use the pen. Whoops. I could change that to like that. You can use the pen if you wanted to write what kind of triangle it was, or to show this is a right angle. So take a few minutes, go to your geoboard and practice making some triangles. So now we're going to look and we're going to make an acute triangle on your geoboard. So remember that an acute triangle has three acute angles. So we're going to go to our geoboard. I've already created that. And now I'm going to show you this is an acute angle. All three angles are acute. One way to look at that, if I were to click down here on the grid, you can see we know that a right angle kind of looks like an L. That should be straighter, but it would look like that. And you can see that all of these are less than that. So we know that this is an acute triangle because all three angles are less than 90 degrees. So take a minute and make some triangles on your geoboard that are acute. Okay, now I'm back to my reference sheet. Now we're going to look at the right triangle. The definition of a right triangle is that it has one angle that is a right angle. So it would be that angle on this right triangle. I'm going to go to my geoboard. Here's an example of a right triangle. It's a right triangle because one of its angles is a right angle. So stop and go ahead and try to make some right triangles on your geoboard. The last kind of triangle based on the size of its angles is called an obtuse triangle, and an obtuse triangle has one angle whose angles is greater than 90 degrees. So we're going to look at our geoboard. I made an obtuse triangle here, and you can see that it's obtuse because this is the angle that is greater than 90 degrees, and it only needs to have one that's greater than 90 degrees. So if we go back and we look again at our triangles, every triangle is either an acute triangle, a right triangle, or an obtuse triangle. Now we're going to look at triangles based on the length of their sides. So a triangle always has a second name. One of the options is that it could be an isosceles triangle. This is an example here of what an isosceles triangle looks like. And an isosceles triangle has two sides that are the same length. So if you were to look here, you could see that both of these sides are the same length. I recreated this triangle on my geoboard, and this is what it looks like. So you can very easily see using the geoboard that this side and this side are the same length, and that would be an isosceles triangle. Our next triangle based on the length of its side is called a scalene triangle, and a scalene triangle has three different sides that are a different length. So it's easier to see on this geoboard. You can see that none of these have the same side length. I created this same triangle on my geoboard, and you can see that each side is a different length, and that makes this a scalene triangle. Okay, our last kind of triangle is called an equilateral triangle, and each side has the same length. Now, it is not possible to add a triangle like this, an equilateral triangle, on our geoboard. It's just not possible. So each side is the same length, so we're not going to do that one on our geoboard. And I want to thank you for your time, and please refer to this video and go back and practice some triangles on your geoboard.